Okay, so today we are going to do a deep dive
Mm-hmm.
into this guy, Turki al Sheikh.
Mm-hmm.
And, he seems to be like a pretty powerful dude in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
Your sources kind of paint this picture of someone, like swimming in power and influence.
Yeah.
But like, there's this like weird like shroud of mystery around his wealth.
Right.
And so we're going to try to get to the bottom of that today.
Absolutely.
Cool. So, when we talk about Al Sheikh, there's kind of two big things he's known for, right?
Right.
He's the chairman of the General Entertainment Authority,
Mm-hmm.
and he's an advisor at the royal court.
Yeah.
So, like, right off the bat, that sounds pretty influential, but like, what does that actually mean?
Well, I mean, it's really interesting, especially when you think about the General Entertainment Authority. It's like
Right.
at the core of Saudi Arabia's Vision 2030, right?
Yeah.
Their big plan to like diversify the economy and, not just rely on oil.
Right. Okay.
And Al Sheikh, as the chairman, I mean, he's basically like running the show, bringing in all these international acts, developing local talent, and we're talking billions of dollars in investments.
I mean, that's wild. So, like, he's not just like, saying yes or no to concerts. He's like building an entire industry.
Exactly. He's shaping the whole entertainment scene.
Wow. Okay, so then what about his role as advisor at the royal court?
Yeah.
Like, how close does that actually put him to, like, where the decisions are really made?
Being an advisor, it means he has like direct access to the royal family.
Uh-huh.
He's in those high-level policy discussions.
Wow.
So it's not just about entertainment anymore. It's like he's got a hand in like the overall direction of the kingdom,
Yeah. Okay, so that's a lot of power and influence already. But
Definitely.
then there's this whole thing about his wealth,
Right.
which, like, your sources hinted at it being pretty huge.
Yeah, it's significant.
But, like, specifics are really hard to find.
Yeah.
So how do we even begin to figure that out? When, like, financial details are usually, like, super secret, especially for folks close to ruling families, right?
Absolutely. I mean, transparency is definitely limited, especially in those circles.
Right.
But I think, if we look at the context of Al Sheikh's roles,
Yeah.
we can start to see like potential ways he could be building his wealth, right?
So, like, what are we talking about? What stood out to you from the sources about how those roles, like, translate into personal wealth?
Well, one source talked about how Al Sheikh was super involved in bringing Formula E racing to Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And it's not just about, having a cool event.
Right.
It's a strategic move, right? To position Saudi Arabia as like this global hub for sports and tourism.
Makes sense.
And bringing in events like that, it means investment, infrastructure development, and, potentially personal business opportunities for the people in charge.
Oh, interesting. So it's not just about the entertainment itself, but, like, the ripple effects it has on everything else.
Exactly. It's the bigger picture.
That's fascinating.
And there was another source that mentioned his role in setting up that MGL Beast electronic music festival.
Yeah. Yeah, that was huge.
Huge. Tons of international attention, investment pouring in.
Yeah.
And when you're the one, basically creating these events,
Uh-huh.
it's hard to deny the potential for using that influence for personal gain, right?
Yeah, I mean, it makes you think.
Right.
Okay, so basically what we're seeing here is that Al Sheikh's influence, it's not just like, some symbolic thing.
No, not at all.
It has, like, real economic weight, both for Saudi Arabia
Yeah.
and potentially for himself.
Yeah, definitely.
So to kind of wrap things up,
Yeah.
I guess what we've learned today is that Turki al Sheikh, through his roles in the General Entertainment Authority and the Royal Court,
Mm-hmm.
he's right at the center of how Saudi Arabia is changing both culturally and economically.
Yeah.
And while we may not know exactly how wealthy he
These
is,
details are still murky.
his influence over this, like, rapidly growing entertainment sector,
Yeah,
and with ambitions that are clearly global,
absolutely.
it suggests that, he's probably doing pretty well for himself.
It's hard to ignore that potential, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
And, as you continue to, look into this,
Mm-hmm.
think about this. How might Al Sheikh's vision for entertainment in Saudi Arabia actually impact the global cultural landscape?
Ooh, that's a good one.
And what kind of ethical considerations might come up as his influence keeps growing?
That's a great point to end on. Thanks so much for diving into this with me.
Of course it was fascinating.
It really was. And listeners, make sure to check out the show notes for links to all the sources we used today.
Yeah, definitely check those out.
And until next time, keep on digging. Keep digging.